So last week there was two words that you don't hear very often, but maybe in something that's historical or a speech or something you may hear. Or sometimes you're reading it, because sometimes when I'm reading something or hearing something, and I'm constantly thinking about what does that word really mean? How would I sign that if I was interpreting that? Because you don't have a lot of time to ponder what you would sign. Now, if you're just learning, now you would have plenty of time, or you could just ask more questions. But if you're watching something on TV or reading something, you can kind of pause and ponder and get your dictionary or thesaurus out and kind of look at that and see how you would sign it. But these two words were extol and revere. So we don't use extol frequently, or hardly. I mean, I hardly ever hear that word. And revere, I do hear that word. So extol, it means to. Hang on a second. Sorry, I had an interruption. Anyway, so extol, it means to praise. So this is praise. Remember, this is school where the heel of your hand is the teacher clapping, but to praise is like if you were really clapping, right? Like if you're clapping at an audience, you would do this. But this is, and I use my right hand because all my sign, because I'm right-handed. So the right hand is going to use all your dominant signing. So I'm clapping here at the bottom, but I don't make any sound, right? So extol is to praise. Clap, 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 clap. I don't want to do here because it'd be school. So I'm going to go down here. This is to praise. Now, praising at church, it may be the same thing. Praise and worship, I would probably use the same sign. I would probably use praise and to worship. But praise. So extol is praise, and then revere is respect. So we do our R hand shapes and do respect. Now, you could do that for honor with your U hand shapes and do honor, respect. So if you did your U hand shape, which would be an H, right? If you moved it for honor, revere, or respect. So you could either do that if you wanted a specific word to be known to the deaf person. They would know this as respect. They know this as honor. And so those are used, I would think, really very frequently. So if there's anything that means to honor or respect, I would use those two signs. So even if you used a U hand shape, it would still have the same conceptual meaning. So it would be okay even if you did revere or respect. You don't have to have the R per se. You can still use the U hand shape. And extol or praise would be that. And I bring that up because sometimes when you're reading something about a historical person or a historical event, sometimes they use those older words, or those older words are already there. Maybe it's something that's already written, and they're quoting maybe from a newspaper or something like that. So you always want to kind of constantly look up or learn all these different meanings to all these different words. So I just thought that I would just kind of add that. And there's some other words, like I said, when you're watching TV, you're listening to something, or you're reading something, you're going to read something or hear something that you're going, how would I sign that? And especially the news, or before, maybe I don't watch the news because I have a smart TV and it's not cable. And so I just kind of watch whatever is interest to me. And so it's not your normal, news feed. But if you do that, then if you hear something, So always be thinking about that. And you may be speaking a different language as well. So how would you translate that into whatever different foreign language that you know or that you can speak? I mean, English and Spanish or French, or we have a lot of Asian languages and also Middle Eastern languages. So you may kind of constantly need to kind of translate those, and so that's always a good exercise, and it helps your understanding of the second language that you are learning or using. Anyway, I will see you later. Bye.